Let's go to Aliona in South Carolina. What's up, Aliona?
Hi, Dr. John. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am all right. Thank you.
Of course. How are you? Never mind. I was going to ask you something totally unrelated. So go ahead.
Well, first, I would like to thank you and your team and all mental health professionals for walking with us every day as we heal and so we can better serve our communities and our families. I really mean it with all my heart and gratitude. So thank you.
I am running a podcast and a radio show. The true therapists who are in there 7 hours, 8 hours a day, every day, they're incredible. Yeah, you are right. High five to them. Thank you so much. So what's up?
So today I'm hoping that you can share some thoughts on how I can best provide mental and emotional support to my dear family and friends who are currently fighting for their lives and fighting for their homes in the Ukraine.
Oh, man. Tell me about what's going on.
So I'm very lucky and fortunate and blessed to live here in the United States. I do have some family that lives here, but just like many Ukrainians in America and all over the world, we also have family and we have friends that are living in the Ukraine, and we are able to help them financially. I'm very blessed that I can, and we're sending humanitarian help. But normally, if someone is having a hard time, I can sit here and hold their hand and listen and talk to them. But I don't know how to talk to my family. I don't know what to say to my friends because saying sorry sounds stupid. And saying, I understand, I don't. I don't understand. So I'm hoping that I can find a way to be there for them thousands of miles away and maybe a way to be here for my family and my community in the United States. They're also having a hard time.
Oh, man. Well, number one, thank you for sharing that. And you are intimately tied to this tragedy that's going on. And you're speaking on behalf of millions who aren't as intimately tied. They don't have friends or family that are there, but they're just watching this. And the word that keeps going through my heart and mind here is powerless. This sense that you are watching bombs and tanks roll over your neighborhoods and your homes and children being born in bomb shelters and things, and this sense of powerlessness. You couldn't get there if you wanted to, right? So there's just literally nothing to do. It's like watching somebody drown and you can't jump in, right? And it's just that sense of powerlessness. And then you you put on top of that survivor's guilt. Because y'all are living well in the U.S., and there's a part of you that feels bad about that. Tell me about that.
I learned this concept from you both ends. Number one, I am absolutely grateful and blessed to be here, and I'm grateful that I am safe and my mama is safe, my father is safe, and I am incredibly hurt and devastated and guilty over the fact that I'm sitting here in a nice apartment with my dogs. I have a way to pay my bills and even go to restaurants. Right. And how do you, I can't get over that. I want to fly there and fight. Yeah. That's what I want to do. And that's what many of us want to do.
Absolutely. Yes. If they said, hey, any folks who want to hop on a plane, we'll fly you over. Yes, those planes would be packed.
Right.
So, I'm going to speak super honestly with you. Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay. You are a brave woman. I'm so grateful that you called. So here's the bold statement I'm going to say, and I'm going to preface this is a privilege statement. This is fill in any kind of critique you want to say about this statement. Mm-hmm. But this is the truth, okay?
Right.
There's nothing you can say to them beyond I love you, with a period. You will not have peace until this is over, period. Your guilt will not help them. The greatest gift you can give them is joy and living your life here. And here's why. We often think that pain is sum zero and joy is sum zero. And if we've got a friend who is hurting, a friend who's in the hospital, a friend who's overseas while their home is being invaded by a foreign country, that we need to slide into that with them. And if they're our neighbor, like you said, you're dang right, man. I'm going into that house. I'm going to sit with them in their ugliest moments, and I'm going to make casseroles and cheap cookies, and I'm going to walk alongside them. When it's one of these paralyzing, there's nothing we can do here, our instinct is to do the same because our bodies aren't designed to know watch in real time on cell phones something that's going on 15,000 miles away on the other side of the world. And so our bodies have a pain and for loved ones and slide into help response, and we are trying to do that now, and we can't. And we think that if we laugh, if I go to a nice restaurant, if I do something romantic with my husband, if I fill in the blank, that somehow we are taking joy from them.
Right.
And that couldn't be further from the truth. So flip it around. If you were there, would you want somebody who you loved, who had the cosmic blessing of being out of there, to just be miserable, or would you want them to go have dinner?
Oh, I would want them to live their life and enjoy.
I would want them to live wheels off. You
Right.
better go out, because I'm stuck here in a bunker, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I want to challenge you to put more beauty into the world in a time when millions of people are under fire and smoke and gray. Put joy into the world, put laughter into the world, put beauty into the world where you can.
Right.
Lashing yourself in order for camaraderie only results in wounds on your back. It doesn't help them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, I am.
Can I give you one other hard piece of wisdom?
Oh, absolutely.
And this is the pot talking to the kettle here. Do you know that expression?
No, but I am going to Google it afterwards.
All right, here's what the pot talking to the kettle is. This is somebody who is going to be very hypocritical for a second. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make a commitment on this show with you if you'll join me, okay?
Sure.
Since this kicked off, I have been obsessed. I have followed everything. I've got a curated Twitter account. I don't even have Twitter. I go on the internets to get through Twitter, but I follow a curated feed hours a day. I don't read the mainstream news because they're not telling us the truth, whatever nonsense I've come up with. And I am obsessed with it, talking to military people, talking to Ukrainian folks, talking to Russian folks. I'm obsessed with it.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what we have to do. We have to turn it off.
Right.
We have to turn it off. And that sounds so ugly and evil and privileged and nonsense. We are not helping them by just absorbing this 24/7, 365. The best thing we can do is be well so that we can rally people to provide money. We can tell the stories that aren't being told. We can write letters, and they may not get there. They may not make it. There may not be a mail service there that's going to get them there. Or we can write emails, or we can write texts that just say, I love you, I love you, I love you. I miss your face.
Mm-hmm.
Not, I'm sorry, not, I understand none of that's true. You're exactly right. I love you. And I'm putting beauty into the world with your name on it. Don't insert yourself into this combat zone. It doesn't help them, it hurts you. Can you and I make an agreement that we're going to cut back on how much we're consuming?
Oh, absolutely. My family in general and majority of our community that I am around, we have very consciously and intentionally turned off the news, and we don't watch a lot of news in general because everything we need to know, our friends and families will tell us.
Beautiful.
But one thing that we are facing, and this is a product of misinformation, we are receiving a lot. I mean, right now we're hurting. Our hearts are breaking.
Right.
And majority of the people rallied around us, but we are receiving a lot of hate from misinformation, the labs information, Nazis, etc. Like that makes it okay to kill innocent people and children.
Right.
So
what about that can you do anything about?
Nothing at all.
Yeah,
nothing at all.
You can turn it off.
Right.
You can turn it off.
Right.
It's like people who are picketing outside of a funeral. Like, I'm not gonna give you real estate in my head. I'm not gonna give you a voice at my table. My friend died. I don't care if you liked him or not. I'm gonna go in here and sit with my friend's family. And I'm going to mourn and weep and then be about honoring him. And the best way I know to honor people is to put beauty into the world. And to laugh and to go dancing and to eat well and to make sure the people around me are honored. And to make sure I'm a part of a process that never allows this to happen on the dirt of where I sleep.
Right.
Right. And so, there's misinformation out there. It's hard when somebody says something ugly or evil about people you love, especially people you love who are hurting. We tend to flock to that.
Right.
Right? Cut it off. Turn it off.
I'm
going to block you. I will never speak to you again. Have a great life. I wish you the best. May the force be with you and whatever other Star Wars references you want to put in their life. Right? I'm just going to be done with it. I'm just out.
Right.
They don't get a voice in my heart or my head. You know who does? My friends and my family and my community. And when I'm able to get a text message or a FaceTime with somebody who's sitting in the middle of Kiev and we can talk for a minute with the sirens not going off, I'm going to cherish that moment. And I'm just going to listen. And I'm going to say, I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'm planting flowers with your name on them. And I'm going to go plant flowers.
That's a great idea. Plant some flowers, Ukrainian flower.
Or whatever it is, put beauty into the world. Get with your community, with your family, with your friends, and just say, where can we put beauty out here? Number one, we're going dancing.
Right.
Why? Because Delony is the worst. This podcast I listen to, they don't listen to it because it's not that great. But this podcast I listen to, he said to go dancing because he's a terrible, terrible, terrible dancer, and the world needs better dancers. So we're going dancing, and we're going to plant flowers this weekend. So everybody, we're going to the nursery. Like, what? You hear what I'm saying? I love your heart.
Right.
Let's just turn it off. And this is me talking to myself in the mirror. So thank you for holding a mirror up to me today, Aliana. You've been a gift to me as well. If there's something that, what's one thing you can pass along to us, to me? You're talking to people who are there that aren't on the radio, that are just moms and dads and brothers and sisters trying to figure out what in the world is happening. What would you pass along to us?
The only regrets, and it's funny you said to tell people that you love them. The only thing I was thinking of on February 24th is what was my last conversation with my sister and my brother and my nieces and nephews, and when was the last time I talked to my dear friends. And it's that right now I am trying to be intentional about seeing my family here in the United States and hugging my mom closer because her daughter is in the middle of the war and my father's son is in the middle of the war, and just hugging them closer and letting go of things and spending more time with our loved ones. And because I was terrified that my last conversation with my sister would have been an argument, and I couldn't remember if I told her that I love her.
And what will you never, ever do as long as you live again? You'll never hang up the phone without saying I love you, will you?
Never. No, never. I haven't. I still have not.
I have not. Can I tell you something? Just keeping in with Delony wisdom, which is I just give the same pieces of advice over and over and over again. You know, it'd be really cool. It would be awesome if you and your mom and dad went and way overpaid for a really nice leather journal, and every day y'all wrote your brother and your sister a letter, how much you miss them, how much you're thinking about them. And when this thing's over and y'all are able to reunite and hug again, you'll be able to hand them that journal. And they'll be able to see that in spirit and in heart, y'all were with them. And y'all planted flowers all along the way.
I would love that.
Sound good?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to give you a copy of this new book that's coming out, okay? And it's not fully out. It will be out in stores by the time the show comes out, I think. But here's the genesis of the book is, or the thesis is, here's how to own what's the garbage that's going on right now, and then here's what to do next, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you and your family can just walk through it together. Here's what we do now. All right, this knucklehead says to do this. All right, let's do this. How do we grieve? Here's a chapter on grief. So it's just going to be a playbook for the next 5 months, 5 years, right, as this thing plays itself out. And I need you to hear me say, Aliana, we're standing with you. We're praying with you. And you've got my commitment to plant some flowers and to put some joy into the world.